Bitcoin mining industry relocating to the US. I think it's very bullish outlook for the next 12 months. Yeah, I don't think things could have gone better in the past quarter.
Community banks should be able to participate, and institutions that can fully back their stable coins. That's going to be the key.
Gold. If gold is worth $10 trillion in the world, then digital gold must be worth 20 trillion. Sometimes people in the retail business that don't understand institutions, they'll read a headline like such and such intends to regulate crypto. And they think that's bad. But when the regulator says, oh, we have no intention of banning it, but you have to pay your taxes on it.
Yeah.
That's not bad. It's bad if you're a crypto anarchist and you hate the idea of ever paying taxes. But if you're a Bitcoin investor, or if you're a long-term holder and the regulator says that, what that means is that they've given a green light to $250 trillion worth of investors to buy it.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes the news is interpreted negatively, but it's actually positive. And sometimes some things that are positive are negatives. And you have to explain to people how the rest of the world may see it, and then they make their own decision based upon their worldview. But I think communication is at a premium at this stage in the development of the life cycle of Bitcoin. Let's start with your life savings. You have all the money you've saved your entire life. It's a stack of money. It's sitting in the corner, however much money you have. And what you'd like to do is you'd like to keep it. So in the 19th century, you would have bought gold with it. Gold was the long-term store of value. It was a form of property, but it was mobile. Another thing you could do is you could buy a building. Another thing you could do with it is you could buy livestock, a bunch of cattle or horses.
Yeah.
You could buy a bunch of corn. You could buy a bunch of oil, or you could buy. All of those are forms of property. Gold is, for thousands of years, thought of as a long-term mobile or portable, semi-portable. It's portable for someone with, $50,000 worth of gold. If it's $50 million worth of gold, it starts to be pretty heavy, and then you can't move it around. Bitcoin can be thought of as digital gold, or more generally, digital property, or most generally, digital energy. And bear with me there. I take my money and I convert it into gold, and I have a pile of gold bars. The good thing is it's hard to make any more. The bad thing is it's heavy, and someone could put a gun to my head, shoot me, and take my gold bars. The other bad thing about gold is the gold miners make more gold. So the half-life of economic energy of your life force stored in gold is about 30 years. Every 30 years, the gold supply is going to double. And in 100 years, it's going to double and double and double again. So you're definitely going to lose 85% of your wealth over 100 years, unless some criminal steals your gold or the government seizes your gold. And of course, over 100 years, 95% of the time, someone's going to steal your gold. That's what happened in the 20th century. So the problem with gold is someone will steal it, or it'll get debased by gold miners, and it's hard to handle. If I want to hold it 100 years, it doesn't debase 2% a year. You've still got 100% of what you had 100 years later. The half-life of Bitcoin is forever. The half-life of gold is 30 years. So one of them is durable. The other thing is I can move it to any of 100,000 counterparties anywhere in the world at the speed of light. So if you think of it as digital gold, you're like, well, it's safer, more secure, indestructible, and without any mass, so easy for me to move around. And that makes it more valuable than gold. If gold is worth $10 trillion in the world, then digital gold must be worth 20 trillion. Our strategy is to acquire and hold Bitcoin. If you go and you pull out our SEC statements, our annual report, our 10Qs, it's a filing. We make that filing to the public to tell all the investors what the company intends to do.
Yeah.
And our strategy is not to trade it. Our strategy is to buy it and to hold it. I think it's the apex property of the human race, which means that it's going to go up forever. It'll have volatility, but over time it should appreciate. So it would be foolish to sell high quality property. I think that the best way to understand this is think about Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is famous for this phrase, our ideal holding period is forever. That's what he said. I mean, I'm not the guy that invented the forever, right? Warren Buffett, when I was a child, told everybody the ideal holding period is forever. And he's famous for like one investment, Coca-Cola. And what is Coca-Cola? I mean, everybody knows what Coca-Cola is. It's the greatest beverage brand in the world.
It is.
And he likes it because it has brand value. Now, most people don't really understand what brand value is. They don't think that hard about it. But if I fired everyone at Coca-Cola and I blew up every Coca-Cola factory and plant, and I destroyed every bottle of Coca-Cola in the world, and I had to start the company from scratch, it would still be worth 50 or $100 billion. It would still have a massive brand value. And the reason why is because there's 8 billion people on the planet. So in order to destroy a brand, it's not enough to destroy the company and the product. Yeah. So coming back to the question of MicroStrategy, we think that Bitcoin is the apex property of the human race. It's Cyber Manhattan. One day, 8 billion people may want to live there. There's only 21 million city blocks in Cyber Manhattan. They're not making any more. Nobody can make any more.
And everyone wants to live there.
You need Istanbul and Paris and London and New York because you have different cultures and people are living in the real world, in physical space.
Yeah.
But you don't need 100 great cities in cyberspace. There was a leading media company in every country, right? In a newspaper, the Turkish newspaper, the British newspaper, the Japanese newspaper. But now you've got Facebook and Twitter. There's no Google of Turkey, and there's no Google of Lebanon, and there's no Google of Syria. There's just Google. And so the answer is no, we don't want to sell it. No, we don't want to trade it. If it's going up 130% a year, you're getting a tax-free return of 130% a year. If you're going to sell anything, and this is the problem with the trading ethos, if you're going to sell anything, you have to pay the transaction fee, then you have to pay the tax, then you have to buy something better than the thing you sold. And if you can do that, then maybe you can be a trader. And I'm not saying in pork bellies and corn futures and soybeans and wheat, yeah, maybe you can trade that stuff. If you're a professional commodities trader, sure, you're a trader. That's your business and you know how to do it. But if you ask me the question, Mike, do you intend to trade digital property? My answer is I'm going to find the highest quality digital property in the world. I did that. I spent 1,000 hours studying that, and I concluded that Bitcoin is the least risky, most secure, most durable, best engineered, highest quality, most suited digital network for storing property for 100 years. Right? I did that, and now that I've got it, are you going to sell it? And the answer is no, I'm going to buy it.